Determined women of destiny. Oh yeah, with Yvonne the Motivator. Come and see. Passion meets purpose every single time. Amazing women shining, letting their light climb. Stories to empower, courage to believe, courage inform, inspire. You will achieve. Women of destiny.
Hey, good people, it's your girl Yvonne, the Motivator, and welcome to Determined Women of Destiny. Before I go any further, I just want to thank my sponsors because I can't do what I do without them. Mr. C Live, 520collective.com. That's your online station for Christian, hip-hop, R&B, and indie music. You can't find music finer than on 520collective.com. And Joseph Slinger. My guest today has been on the show before. She is a friend to the show because she's a friend of mine. And this is who we affectionately call Miss Edna, but Edna White. Welcome, Edna.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, the reason why I wanted Miss Edna back is because she pointed out to me, hey, we did a show last year, and we should do one this year to show the growth that can happen in 365 days. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. Because some of us think that the thoughts and our goals and our dreams and our achievements are so far away. But if you put the work in, you'd be surprised what happens in 6 months. You'd even be surprised what happens in 3 months. So, Miss Edna, I just want you to let us just talk about what's going on, right? Miss Edna's been my life coach from time to time. Oh, the nuggets I have gotten from this woman, right? I was pricing so low that Miss Edna said, well, what you doing this for? Because it's like for free, right? And it's not all about the money, but your gift makes way for you. So I had to wrap my head around that. I had to wrap my head around the fact that I have a big ticket item, right? I have a journal. Why am I not driving traffic to my journal? That I can do online presentations and workshops. Why am I not doing that? So from her help, this opened my eyes. So not only is she a life coach that transforms people's thinking and their lives, she gives you a blueprint. So Miss Edna, what's been going on since last year?
Oh, goodness, a whole lot. I think the last time we talked, I was coaching you, I think, and then
Yes.
I kind of pivoted from there. Life coaching wasn't the same anymore for the past year, as you know, that since the internet has really been flourishing, everybody was on virtual. I was on virtual first, a long while ago with Zoom, matter of fact. But it has been really changing the fact of, one-on-one. So I've been, I'm on my 32nd book already.
Wow.
I had 2 bestsellers, one in like 2013, and then the other one was 2021, which was Women Right Now. So I had 2 bestsellers on the Amazon list. I now keynote speak a lot. I travel a lot. I'm doing that and locally as well. And I've pivoted to business and clarity strategies. So I love helping other businesses, especially entrepreneurship, strategize on how to create sustainable, funnel of money, and especially around coaching and being an author, So I love doing that. That's what I've been doing. I've had a lot of things going on,
Right.
too much to be going on, but my podcast, Keeping It Real on Purpose, has opened up so many avenues for me right now. I've become an influencer and I didn't even want to be. It wasn't something I recognized
Oh,
as being part of my, what I'm doing, but
yeah.
it just happened.
Two things I want to speak to. You said you had to pivot. Now that is one
Yeah.
of the most important things as an entrepreneur is you have to
Hmm.
see when it's time to shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if it is time for you to shift and take your
Yeah.
business to the next level and you're
Hmm.
staying at the level that you're comfortable with, your
Right.
business is never going to grow.
Right.
You're going to
I think
keep.
I think for me, pivot, it means two different things. I think leveling up is leveling up. So
Mhm.
leveling up to me is money,
Okay.
but pivoting is my system and what direction I'm going as far as my goal. Because we all, you too, have said, okay, I'm this business is for this mission, for this purpose,
Right.
and I had to pivot, because I was doing a lot of one-to-ones, and I felt like I was just repeating myself over and over and over and over again. And it was the same problem. Not that I looked a gift horse in the mouth, but I thought I could do this smarter, and with less work, and because that's what the real goal is freedom. So you want to do less work, So that's what I think. I think that's what I'm meaning about pivot. Pivoting
Mhm.
that way versus um, staying in the same position of okay, I got to get leads and things like that.
I agree with you on the one to one. I stopped doing one to one. Also, I went to coaching in group. It
Hmm.
was such a cleaner transition.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
it
yeah.
was, instead of one person and you got like 10 clients in a week,
Hmm.
right? You now have 10 clients in front of you at the same time with the
Yeah.
same situation, and everybody can
Hmm.
get the same information. So I
Yep.
totally agree with you,
Yeah, I love it.
on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Doing the group. And as a
Hmm.
community advocate also, um, you bring your expertise to that. Like, there's
Yeah.
nowhere in Suffolk County, Long Island, that you say Edna White and people are like, who? People tell you, find Edna White, you know? Um,
Hmm.
and I've always loved that about you, that you're the plug and you're
Yeah.
happy to be the
Cool.
plug,
Yeah.
and you want to be resourceful and you want to be a resource.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thank God for that because that was my purpose. As my purpose is I used to think about it all the time, and no matter what you know role I'm in, it's always that purpose of being that resource. So, oh yeah, I may not need you, but you know what? I know somebody who does need you. Let's
Hmm.
let's do this. Let's put you together. And just be helpful in that way, because that's what we're here for, is to be helpful. And I just found my vein and stuck with it, I guess.
It's very important because there are so many gatekeepers out here. People think that if I tell you some information, then that takes away from me. Absolutely not. There are so many people out here that need services, and
Mm-hmm.
I do it one way, you do it another way. Somebody
Absolutely.
else has their own
Yeah.
style. Um,
Uh-huh.
and the good part about it is we can refer to each other.
Right.
But there's so many gatekeepers and so many people. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like you. If I have a gift or if I know how to do something, I can help you.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you.
Absolutely.
Instead of me
I think those
saying,
people too. Those people too. They're not at their level, and they're not in their why. You know,
mm-hmm,
because their why could be, make survival mode, that I have to make money, so I don't have time to tell you. I've learned that now, that a lot of
mm-hmm,
people in survival mode, they're not in. Let me set up the system, and then I can let it work for me. And then if somebody asks me, I have free time to. Oh yeah, sure. This is what you do. This is what you do. Because I think, like, and I think you do too, everything is legacy. So if
mm-hmm,
I tell somebody and I
yeah,
make somebody's life lighter, that's legacy. So it's creating that full effect, like a spider web is connecting all those dots. but also leaving legacy behind, because I've met so many women, and I think, when I was working with you in that organization, I met so many women that have died. I mean, they died young because of cancer or what have you, but literally they never gave up anything. You'd ask them a question, well, how do you do this? How did you get here? How did you get that award? Even if you couldn't help me, point me in a direction,
Right.
and then I'll find out who can help me. But it's holding on to all that information. You become a hoarder. I don't even think they're gatekeepers, because gatekeepers, at least, they have to give up the key to somebody. I think they're just hoarders, and it's sad. It's sad to meet hoarders like that, because the information rots. That's different.
And
it goes away with them,
Right, and it dies with them, and
Yep.
we never get the full usage
Nope.
out of
Nope.
what you have.
That's
So
exactly right.
what you were
Exactly
supposed to leave here, you don't get a chance to.
No, you sure don't.
And we think
And that's sad.
legacy has to come through our children, and not all the time.
Nope.
Not all the time, because people
No.
that you meet along the way will be able to carry that torch. My daughter don't want to do nothing that I'm involved with, right? And I keep wanting to put it in there, and she doesn't want it. But there are so many other young women that I can sew into,
Right. And it may not be her time right now. I mean, like my kids, it may not their time. Like my daughter was, I thought she wasn't listening. She's the middle child, so I thought she wasn't listening. But as she got older and she needed that information, she pulled it right out of there. Mom said this and Mom said that. She pulled it right up. And she goes, I remembered a lot of what you told me, in this particular situation, that particular situation. So, you're just sowing seeds, all over. But we have to think of our lives as a book. Like, if you read a book, I read a book that I can't find right now. It's called Jesus the Rebel, and I can't find it nowhere. Right? But it left an impression on me. That's legacy.
Right.
That's what we are. We're living books. We're living books. If we're not living, then we must, we're good for nothing, really. Nobody's going to read us, and that's the sad thing about it is, coming together as, sisters. Like somebody said to me today, I got to be careful about who I call sisters. I said, well, one thing for sure is that energy ain't right. Sister ain't never coming out my mouth. It's never coming out my mouth. Yeah. So that it won't even come to fruition, like in my head, to say sister. No, right. I'm calling you by your name, but no, you got to be so very careful, and this, and we are here to support each other. We got 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 ears, 2 eyes. We're here to support. That's what you use them for. You use to listen, to hear, to speak. And you only speak once because you got one mouth. But if you hear, you can actually relay the information. It's all about information.
And that's what people don't understand, that the more information you have, the better your life can be.
That's right.
We want to so much say, oh, well, I know this. You want everybody to know what you know. So you look special, right? Instead of just sitting back.
That's backwards, Yvonne.
And
they want you to know that they got a certificate or a PhD or whatever that is, but they don't want to let you.
Right. See, the thing is, they want you to respect that, right?
Yes. Not the fact what they know.
Right. Instead of sitting back, listening, and obtaining, some information. At the end of my show, everybody knows, even when I go online, I end with, keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. And I was in a meeting and someone said that. And I went up to them and said, hey, that was very interesting and very motivational what you said. Where did you get it from? And she says, I don't know. I heard it from somewhere and it stuck in my head. I wanted so badly to say, you heard it from me. You're using my line,
No, it just probably made you really feel real good. Like, wow,
Yes, somebody's
somebody's
listening.
hearing you. Somebody's hearing you. And I met this. I did. It's the same thing happened to me the other day. I was on a podcast with somebody. No, I was reaching out. Working with some couple of friends that I knew in the past, and I was coming back around to kind of do some new work with them. And so she says, you know what? Your face is so familiar. And I say, where do you live? She says, in Bayshore. I said, I'm pretty sure you saw me.
Uh-huh.
Pretty sure. She's, yeah, your face looks so familiar. So I know you good money. She said, and she's like, we could do this together. I know we could do this together because I know I've seen your face around. I've seen you. So it's good. It makes you feel good that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the work, because much given is much required, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As an author, right? You said you
Hmm.
have 32 books now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How do you find the time to just crank those suckers out? You know, how
It just happens overnight. So
mhm.
like the first time, and I think it was 2011 or 12, I just started writing. Um, and I was afraid to put them out. I had like maybe 10 books finished completely. And I just didn't put them out because of embarrassment. And I said, well, it's now or never. And then I put the first book out in 2012. And in 2013, it became number one on Amazon's paperback list for about 2 weeks, but was worth it. And then that's when it picked the organization RAIN.org, the organization for rape victims and sexual assault victims. They
Mhm.
picked it up and put it on their catalog,
Wow.
and that was so good because you have a goal. Sometimes I wanted people to be affected by this book, and I was around a lot of friends and a lot of people that wrote. And I remember I was in Philadelphia at a book signing for sexual assault, and so I'm listening to everybody's book, and they're reading pieces of it, and so I'm looking at the audience, and they're being triggered all over again, right? So I was
Mhm.
like, God, I don't want my book to do that. I just don't want my book to do that. I want my book to, you know, bring about some realizations, uncover some things, but also give them something to soothe that pain. And that's what I did. When I wrote it, that's how it came out. And back in the day, I did it with a word process. I
Wow.
didn't
Yeah.
I didn't do it on a laptop or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
and then it was written during that time, and then I had to rewrite it all over again. So I knew the second edit was like it was good. So once I wrote it, it was like, yeah, this is it. I'm not gonna mess with it again. So yeah, what I have time and how to crank it out is just you have to listen again. You gotta listen to your spirit, and it's something I love to do. So I love to write anyway. So
Mhm.
it's not like I have to force it. Um, People say I have writer's block. I said, I don't even know what that is, really, honestly, because I wish sometimes the thoughts would stop. So I don't have to do no more,
Yeah.
But I don't know what writer's block is. I think it's if it's your gift, it's your gift. If you're allowing creativity to flow, it flows. So having time for it happens. Once I start writing, I just complete like an entire book, depending on what the flow is, and it just happens. I can't explain more than that for me, anyway. So um, maybe if somebody give me another contract, I'll probably say, yeah, look at
Right, and then it will
yes,
come. You
yes.
spoke about how you wrote that book on a word processor. I know
Mhm.
my journal sat for 5 years. I paid
Mhm.
someone to even proofread it for me and did not
Right.
know what to do with it until I'm talking to a friend of mine. It's like 11 o'clock at night. We're on the
Uh-huh.
phone just chatting. The next day she says, hey, go to lulu.com. Your journal's up there. You're an author. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and then reading, seeing it in print, you
Yeah. It
know,
makes a difference.
oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I was like, oh, Yvonne, this is you. Wow, this is pretty
Yeah.
good work. I enjoy, Yvonne, I enjoy your journal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
uh,
Yeah.
And since then, of course, I've been writing. To anyone who wants to do the book or wants to do a workbook or a journal, just do it, because once you do
Right.
your first one, it's just going to ignite you to
Yeah,
continue.
absolutely.
Especially if you're a writer. You
Yep.
know,
If you're right,
all
that's
of
right. I
all of
mean,
all of my workshops now come with a workbook. So now I not only get paid for running the workshop, they're going to pay me per workbook, because you know uh, your folks need the workbook, don't they, for the workshop? So
exactly.
that's another item, to sell,
Mm-hmm.
to sell, and to
Absolutely.
people think that oh, what is life coaching anyway? You just listening to people. I had a woman say, you listen to people, you help them, and you expect to get paid for it. I said, I don't expect to get paid for it. I get paid for it, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
but you're not listening to them. You're solving a problem. That's a difference between a therapist and us. Okay, there's a big
yes,
difference.
yes.
There's a big
And I,
difference.
I went
And so
on.
we're helping them solve a problem. We're they're coming to us. They're awakened. They know that they have a problem, but they just
Hmm.
don't see the problem. So we're the other pair of eyes that said, "Oh, this is. What about looking at this?" We ask the questions that open the box.
Right.
That's what we do.
And I tried to explain that. And this one woman
Yeah.
was like, that's just helping someone. You shouldn't have to get paid for helping someone. And at that
Yeah. Well, that's
point,
somebody.
right, at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point, I wasn't
Survival
trying
mode.
to
Yeah,
try,
that was survival mode right there.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to
Yeah.
supply her any more of an
Yeah.
explanation. And I was like,
She wasn't going to accept it, Yvonne.
right.
You know that.
Yeah, I was like, well, you know what? It was such a pleasure meeting you, and enjoy
Yeah.
the
She wasn't.
rest of
She
the
wasn't up for that.
event. And she
Yeah.
was upset that I left. But I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
say this to everybody else that's in business, right? Stop letting people beat you over the head about what
About
you
what you do.
do
Yep.
and what your prices are,
Yeah.
right? Do your business, keep your prices where you think they should be, and trust me, if somebody has to haggle or beat you over the head, that's not your client.
Nope. No way, no how.
Right? That's not your
Nope.
target that's not your target population
Nope.
at all.
Nope. Nope.
And
And
it's
that's it.
okay to walk away. Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
I want this client. Do you really?
Yeah. Do you
Because
really want the headache? That's the key. Is do you want the
yes,
headache? Yeah, the
yes,
headache.
yes, yes,
Because
yes.
I've had a few clients that literally wanted to stay where they were. I mean, they fought tooth and nail,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to haggle with you, or I'm going to, I'll say it one time, say it two times, then I help you come through to realization and try to change the narrative around it. But then if you go back to it, then I know that you're there,
Mm-hmm.
and the only person that gets you out of there is you. So you don't want solutions. You want a sounding board. That's two different things. You don't want a solution to pivot or move or navigate
Right.
towards something. You want a sounding board for you to say what you got to say continuously until you get tired.
And that's
And
called a
that's not what I'm for.
therapist. Right. That's
Yeah.
that's a therapist. If
Yeah.
your appointment is 8 o'clock every Thursday, and
Yep.
every Thursday I have to contact you, hey, are we meeting?
Yep.
And then once we're on our virtual meeting, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
wait for you to do this with the kids.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
do a load of laundry.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
I'm
Mm-mm.
canceling your services. I'm canceling your
I'm
services.
going to tell you first. I had a client like
Oh, I
that. This just
told
to say,
them.
yeah,
Yeah,
they getting canceled. So
yeah.
I I met with him, and then he didn't do what I asked him. This work that he have to do, didn't do it. So I said, what are we meeting for? He says, I need to go. I want to do this with you. I said, no, no, no. You had three, not one time, not two times, but three times. So you're not ready. You're not ready to go. You're in survival mode, and you're not ready. Because when you're trying to survive, if I had a rope that says I can get you out of this hole in 30 to 60 days, right? If I
Mm-hmm.
said that, 30 to 90 days, let's say that. It's the firm rope, we can go hold that rope. But instead you want straws. Well, you can go over here, make money over here. I need to make money over here. This is my problem. I need to make money here, instead of using what you have. And I love using the scriptures to say,
Yes.
what did Moses have? All he had in his hands was what? A staff. So why do you need the extras if you need to utilize what you had? Because same thing with us. When we started writing, we used what we had.
Right.
Nothing that's here now, like AI and all that, we didn't use that, and I still don't. I still don't. When I'm writing, when I am in my mode to write, it comes out perfectly on the paper. It just comes out. I type it, but it comes, the way it's supposed to be is the way it comes out. And then I told him, I said, no, we cannot meet, again, at all, because I've given you an opportunity. I believe I'm an opportunity. And when you abuse me and I'm taking time out of my schedule, you're not even calling me to cancel all of that stuff. And I held the day open for, that time open for you. And
right. My time is just as important as yours. And,
yes.
when I had the conversation, it was like, well, my kids are important. I know they are, but you said that this was important to you.
Yeah.
And it is
You made
only
the
an
appointment.
hour. It's
Right.
an hour. All you had to
But
do
you
was
made the
choose.
appointment. I didn't make your appointment. You
Right.
made your appointment.
All you had to do was
So,
choose 1 hour
yeah,
that you would
yeah,
be free. That's all I asked. That's
yeah.
it.
And you know what? I can't care more than you care.
Right. You can't work harder than your client. You cannot. You
I
cannot. You
cannot care more than
cannot.
you care.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
those people you don't, they're not ready. And when they're not ready, there's nothing you can say or do or
Nope.
give them that can put them
Change it.
in the direction they need to go
Yeah.
in. So
So, Miss Edna,
yeah,
let us know
yes.
what we should be on the lookout for. What you doing, Miss Edna? What you doing?
So my show has really changed and been encompassed. We're now on we're on YouTube as well as audio, and we're getting about 10,000 downloads on audio a month
Wow.
for each episode.
Uh-huh.
And we've gotten really good with this. We're actually starting a couple of new series that have to do with the whole our whole content on keeping it real on purpose, because we've gotten to the point where so many people want to come on. And we've had 3 celebrities, which I'm totally proud and happy about. But we're starting a lot of work with different series coming up in this new year. We started a new Substack, but I'm excited about adding the new show, the new part of the show called Between the Lines.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is I choose a book, choose 1 or 2 books or whatever, and I read that book and give a lesson on that book. So the author could have been a past author, because I have their book on, I have books everywhere, but I have their book, and I'll have a lesson on that. So it's between the lines, and help them to take that book, whether it be a book on that's fiction or nonfiction or even fantasy, and try to apply that book to their lives, so they can live practically. So I'm really excited about that, adding another day to the podcast. And what else is new? We've actually are on a Chinese YouTube.
Oh, okay.
We've been invited, and we are now on the Chinese YouTube, which reaches all of the Asian market, the entire Asian market. So that is exciting all by itself. We have a new sponsor, which is called Contact Co., which is the bracelet with all your contact information in it. So when you go on your networking events, you don't bring any business cards. You wave the bracelet over their phone, and all your information is downloaded
It's
to their
right
phone.
there. Wow, that's interesting. Let us know
So it's
how.
exciting.
Let us know how we could contact you, Miss Edna.
So simple as that is
Mhm.
ednawhite.com. That's it.
Wonderful, wonderful. I look forward to all of the things that you'll be doing. We will be partnering up. I ain't telling
Yeah.
y'all what we doing. You just gonna have to keep your eye out. It's not a
Yeah.
secret, But if you can be nosy on everything else, you can be nosy on this too.
Yeah,
And
well,
just
the master class that we're doing is called Contemplation to Completion.
yep.
Why so many people never finish what they start, and how to finally break that pattern. That's our live virtual master class, May 6th, 8 p.m. So look for it.
See, y'all lucky because Miss Edna gave it to you. I was gonna make you wait for it, look for it. You know, you
I want them on. I want them on. Sign up.
right. So if you
Reach out
have,
to either one of us. We have the link. Sign up. We will sign you up
yes,
ASAP.
if you're having an issue with that, um, you know, this is the master class for you. It really is. Um, and it's something as simple as a few pointers that can put you in the direction that you need to go. So hope you join
Yeah.
us. So Miss Edna, thank you so much. You're
Thank
always
you.
a wonderful guest. And you
You're
guys
welcome. Thank
know, y'all keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done.
Women of destiny. Of Yvonne.